Hello, welcome back to Insomnia Garage. I'm Eric. Today I'm going to be working on my wife's car, doing some maintenance repairs that I've been putting off, and I don't want to think about it anymore. So let's dive right in. Alright, so on my wife's car, she has got a leaking oil pan gasket, so we're going to fix that with this Ultra Gray. We are adding a B&M supercooler transmission cooler. She has the V6, and these do not have a transmission cooler from the factory, so I'm going to be adding that in. And then we'll be adding some fog lights as well. In addition to adding the fog lights, we'll actually be changing out the front bumper. She was backed into recently, so I opted to take this opportunity to update from the 2003 bumper to the 2006 and 2007 bumpers. So that involves a bumper change, a lower grille change, and an upper grille change. Alright, first thing I want to do is give myself a little room to work. So let's get this thing up in the air and then snag this bumper off. Alright, we are securely up in the air. Rear tires are chocked, jack stands under the lift points, and the lower valence on the bumper has already been removed. So just going to snag on some of these clips. Some of them are missing, broken. We'll worry about that another day. Once we pop that off, pull the bumper off, and should be fairly easy since this side's already broken and looks like they just kind of, pop out like this. And we'll see what it does. Okay, with the bumper off, I have plenty of room to work. So I'm not seeing a fantastic way to mount the transmission cooler. I didn't want to use the pads, where you run it through the condenser, but it's looking like I may end up having to do that. And I'll just make sure that I get it mounted in a way to, where it's not on the power steering cooler, not rubbing up against that, and make sure that I have plenty of padding between the trans cooler and the AC condenser. I'm going to put it on this side, on the driver's side over here, because the main cooling fan is on this side. So we'll add it this way, we'll route the lines, get that done, and go from there. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little more room to work. The transmission lines are on top of the transmission, so I am going to remove the air box, the air intake, get all of this out of my way so that I can reach down in, feed the lines, and figure out whatever I need to figure out. Okay, day 2. I was out of transmission fluid, didn't have enough transmission cooler line. I was covered in dirty motor oil, and then I sliced my thumb open, so I called it quits for the end of the night, regroup. So we're going to start again. I have picked out a place for the transmission cooler lines to tee into. I went ahead and picked up the additional lines that I need, trans fluid, all that, so we should be good to go. I'm going to show where I want to put the in-between lines, and then or where the cooler is going to fit in between, and just get it mounted up, run the lines. I cannot mount the lines yet until I throw oil in the car. I want to know which way it's going to pump, so that way I can place the the pump on the bottom side. That way it'll fill up to the top. We don't get any air pockets in the cooler. So I'm just going to go and get everything mounted and ran, and then I'll do all that up later this evening. And while I'm waiting on that, I'll also go ahead and run the electrical wires for the fog lights, mount the relay, mount the switch, get all that in place, so that way all I have to do at the end of the night is turn it on, plug the lines up, clamp them, mount the bumper, and I'm good to go. So let's take a look. Alright, y'all, I have the trans cooler. I opted to go ahead and mount it to the condenser because I am beat and this car needs to be drivable tomorrow. So what I did, to give myself a little more room just because I am exhausted, I went ahead and removed the radiator, got it out of the way, routed my oil cooler lines. I am going to wrap these in a piece of heater hose, and I'm also going to double up my abrasion resistance with this edge trim. So I'm gonna run this down the edge of the radiator and run it down the tank like that, and then with the heater hose over the oil cooler line, I shouldn't have to worry about anything, and I can start putting this car back together. So I am just gonna start thrashing away on this, and we'll take some video of the finished product and then fill you in. Alright, I'm on day 3 of what should have been a one-day install. I took the evening off. I was tired, started making mistakes. I didn't want to cause any more damage. So let's take a look at the vehicle, see where we're at, and show you the cooler line hookups and go over that information. Okay, so if you look very carefully, you can see one hose clamp to the right there. That is the feed line to the cooler. And then further down, see if I can get it in view. It is right there. That's the other guy. That is the return from the cooler. So cooler lines are run. They're going to be run under the air box there, over the mount, and then I undid the fuse box to make working around it easier. The only thing I have left to do is reinstall the oil jet kit and then run a new piece of hose to the oil jet kit. I've added half a quart of transmission fluid. It's probably going to take more, but I added half a quart just to start with, and we'll just warm it up, make sure we don't have any leaks to begin with, monitor the levels, and then refill. I've also now added oil back to the car after doing the oil pan gasket. And when I did the condenser install, I actually removed the radiator. These hoses that I have are new, so they're very, very stiff. And so I didn't want to, bend back on any of this and damage anything. So I just snagged the whole thing out. And that made getting to the cooler and the back side of the condenser that much easier. And you can see I've got plenty of room. I actually, instead of relocating this horn, what I did was I just grabbed a hold of the bracket and bent it forward a little bit. And it's giving me plenty of room behind the cooler there. so it's a little difficult to see, but there is plenty of room behind the nut and the cooler, and I'm quite pleased with it. And normally I would be, I don't know, 20 minutes away from the install if I had a good bumper to install. But as it stands, I chose to convert to the 2007 bumper, so I need to assemble that bumper with the grille and the fog lights. And because this car didn't have fog lights from factory, I need to run the wiring and the switch and get all that done. So I imagine I probably have a few more hours to go. But before I get too far, I'm going to fire the car up and check for leaks. So I will be back. Hello. Okay, so I thought that I had filmed an outro or some additional footage. I probably did, and I've since lost it. I'm trying to edit my video together, and I have no conclusion for this transmission cooler. So it's been like a year. So we're going to show you the front of the car, shine a light through the grills, see how it's all mounted up, and then wrap the video up, throw some things in text or voiceover or whatever I have to do, and just show y'all how it's been. So we've actually taken the car on one long trip. By long, I mean we've gone to, like, it was like a 3.5 hour drive, and I honestly had, forgotten that I was having transmission issues previously. So the cooler does work, and if you look, I do have the bumper, the 2007 bumper grill, the JDM style fog lights from eBay. Those were installed. You have to do a lot of cutting. There's it's not great, but it is all installed. I don't have the footage anymore. So we have that, and then if we shine our lights down here, we can see that the transmission cooler is installed and is working. Let's see if we can see it through here. Get some light in there. There we go. It's working beautifully. Like I said, we took like a 3.5 hour trip, and into the mountains, driving through hills, and lots of up and down, and lots of shifting, and seriously no issues at all. So I'm really happy that I did this, and yeah, I'm very, very happy that I did this, and I recommend it wholeheartedly. If you have a 2003 to 2007 V6 Honda Accord. As I understand, the Odysseys also have the problem, and the Pilots without the tow issue also have the problem. So would recommend a transmission cooler for those as well. You may have to go bigger depending on, if you're towing or hauling, right? Carrying a bunch of kids around, or, jet ski, boat, using the minivan to transport furniture or whatever, so you want to adjust for your weight rating. But yes, it works incredibly well. So I'm gonna get this video edited together, and then, which I'm still terrible at. I'm literally just a dude in my garage just trying to share stuff with y'all, and I'm learning as I go. I'm not very good at it. So really what it's going to take is it's going to take me just filming these and pumping videos out, and I'm in the process of building a new computer because editing on my laptop is miserable. So I'm hoping that with the computer built, I can then make the editing process a little bit more enjoyable for me, and I can focus on things like this here, right? It has not touched, it's not moved. It's honestly really sad. So yeah, so thanks for tuning in. If you have any comments, leave them below and I'll answer, and I'll try to put together a parts list and throw that in the description, so that way you know exactly what I used for the transmission cooler. And I had to get some additional line, which you can just buy at your auto parts store, and then everything else. All right. Thanks, y'all. Bye.